In the Green Lane Reservoir swims an invasive common carp. They are native to Eurasia but have been introduced to many locations all over the world. One reason why they are bad for the ecosystem is that their feeding behavior worsens water quality. However, there are native species here, such as the spelted kingfisher, which unfortunately is way too small to prey on common carp. Nearby is another native bird, a green heron, and on land there is a variety of native plant species. Up in a wire is a barn swallow, which nest almost entirely in man-made buildings. This is a fish crow. They can be told apart from American crows thanks to their different sounding call. On the ground is a stone with text that was engraved in the year 1766. It appears to be written in a different language and is probably either a grave or a marker for a building. It is late September and a great egret is walking through the water. Over on the other side of the reservoir is a species of duck known as an American widgeon. They breed mainly in Canada but winter from the western United States to Colombia. Right now, we are about on the line between their migratory and winter range. The American widgeon is one of three widgeon species, the other two being the Eurasian widgeon of the Old World and the Chiloé widgeon of South America. American widgeons eat mainly plants, both terrestrial and aquatic, and more of them than other dabbling ducks. Widgeons have extra short bills that allow them to pluck plants on land with more force. Although these ones are using their bills to take bites of vegetation from the surface of the water. Not far away from the ducks is a great blue heron who is pruning their feathers. After it finished, it decided to wade in the water. Up in a tree is the other, more common species of crow that can be found here, the American crow. And in this oak tree is an eastern bluebird. Almost 2 weeks have gone by, and the American widgeons are still here. Since it is the middle of waterfowl migration, new birds have arrived, like this flock of northern shovelers. Unlike widgeons, shovelers have extra large bills that allow them to filter little invertebrates out of the water using over 100 comb-like projections on the tips of their bills, known as lamellae. The reason why those two shovelers are moving in a circle together is to stir up their prey and bring it closer to the surface. Apparently, these are not very nice ducks because one is chasing away a blue-winged teal, which is actually in the same genus as shovelers. On the edge of the water is a very weird bird. From a distance, it appears to be a great egret, but in reality, it is a great blue heron that is white. You can tell this is not a great egret because its beak is large and dull, and its legs are not black, not to mention that it is larger than any egret. This is likely none other than the great white heron, which is considered a subspecies of the more common great blue heron. They are native to the Yucatan Peninsula, the Caribbean islands, and southern Florida, which is where most of them are known to live. However, since they have a small population, they have been known to wander as far west as Texas and as far north as Canada. It is also worth mentioning that they are the largest heron in all of North America. Flying above the heron is a bird that actually naturally occurs here, an osprey. On a log sits a painted turtle, which is one of the most common turtle species in North America. A little further away are some lesser yellowlegs. In a smaller body of water known as Night Lake, there are 5 turtles resting on a log. And mallards are feasting on what looks like duckweed and algae. Mallards are classic examples of dabbling ducks, meaning they feed from the surface of the water instead of diving. Later that month, and further down Night Lake, are wood ducks. They are in the genus Aikes, which has only one other extant species, the mandarin duck. According to Georgia Before People, the two species likely diverged around 5 million years ago in the early Pliocene. All of the wood ducks we have seen so far have all been males, but this one is a girl, and those guys want her. However, there's only room for one of them. Male wood ducks can get mean when there's competition for a female, so mean in fact that they have been known to kill ducklings that aren't their own. On a lighter note, wood ducks have strong and curved claws that allow them to grip onto branches, or in this case, a thin log. This is a feature that most ducks don't have. These beautiful ducks truly are adapted to the woods. They even nest in tree cavities that can be up to 50 feet away from the ground. And when the ducklings leave the nest, they have to jump. That's not all. Wood ducks don't just eat aquatic food, but also stuff from the forest, such as acorns. Even their wings have adapted to forest life, allowing them to quickly move between trees in flight. Compared to a mallard, this wood duck appears very small, and that's because he is. However, most ducks in North America are smaller than mallards, so mallards are actually big ducks. American black ducks also happen to be here, which are one of the closest relatives of the mallard. You can tell them apart from mallards due to the purple square on the back of their wing and the fact that they are darker. Unfortunately, they are not getting along too well with the wood ducks. This American black duck is rubbing its head against its body, likely spreading oil secreted from its preen gland to make its feathers waterproof. It is hard to get over how exotic these wood ducks look. Let's take a moment to appreciate their beauty. Back in the Green Lane Reservoir, there are birds that aren't ducks or geese, but coots, more specifically American coots, which are one of the world's 10 species of coot. Like some ducks, they eat mainly aquatic plants and algae. Above the water's surface, coots appear to swim like ducks, but in reality they swim completely differently. They swim by kicking the water with their long legs and can move thanks to weird flaps of skin on their toes that expand and contract. It is also worth mentioning that they possess the ability to dive. Golden hour has arrived, and in the reservoir swims another bird that is not a duck or a goose, and is not even a coot, but instead is a pie-billed grebe. Now, this actually is a duck, a female ruddy duck. Further out, there are more ruddy ducks. But thank you for watching this video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new, and have a great day.